Alright, I think I'm streaming. Alright. Good afternoon. This is Double Trouble, and I think this is going to be my first official stream. I did a test stream yesterday. This might end up being a test stream also. Not sure yet. What I put in the title of this stream when I met Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart died yesterday in age of 94. And anyway, so I want to talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, yeah, it took me a while to get this guy. I wanted to do my first stream on Tuesday. Today's Friday. So it was quite a hassle. A lot of hardware problems. I had a cable problem, Ethernet cable problem. It was the connectors were not right. I ended up having to pull cable out of the walls and to find enough cable to do it, and then my crimping tool wasn't working. Oh, here's the wire. So here's what the wire looked like that I had. Can you see that? It was all, messed up. So I had to find more wire. I had to pull wire out of the wall and cut it and put new connectors on it. And in this, I have this crimping tool for crimping connectors. You take one of these like this. You see that? I'm going to do a lot of technical and science stuff, so that's what I'm talking about most of the time. You have these little connectors for an Ethernet connector, and you put it on a wire, and you carefully slide all the wires in there, and then you have to crimp it. And then I went to my crimping tool. My crimping tool was broken. You can see that, and it was missing a screw. And so I went to try to find a screw for it. It turns out it's an 836 thread instead of an 832. 832 is normal. 836 is hard to find. I couldn't find it, but I found an 832 that was exactly the right length, where I could tighten it down with only about 1.5 turns, which was enough that I could do without stripping out the thread and still get it to attach. So anyway, it took me a long time. Long story short, it took me a long time to get the thing going, and then of course I hadn't set up a new system in many years, so there were a lot of new versions of things with new configuration files and blah blah blah, So is this too loud? Yeah. Excuse me just a second here. I'm gonna make sure this is not too loud. Is that too loud? Hello? So, anyway, yeah, a lot of fun stuff trying to get this going, and then of course, then I didn't get the chance to do any learning OBS. Oops, no, I don't want to shut down OBS. I didn't get a chance to do to play with OBS very much, so I was trying to learn the interface on that thing. It has a pretty steep learning curve for that, so yeah, a lot of fun stuff. but anyway, I should probably introduce myself. I'm Ron. My name's Ron. I live in New England. I'm in a rural area. Got lots of animals and forests and stuff all around. It's pretty cool. I've been on Twitch for a couple of years now. I guess a year, 2 years. I don't remember. finally decided to start streaming. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, I guess I should bring up my, let's see, I guess I have to do, how do I do this? I guess I need to have a streamliner up. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? Let's see here. Channel. Okay, go to channel. Okay. Okay, good. There's nobody chatting, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't think I have to worry about that for a while. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. So, yeah, I live in New England. Lots of animals around here. One of the things I want to try to figure out is how to get a camera, you know, to show the animals. When, you know, if I'm streaming and an animal walks by or something, I can just stick the camera out the window, take a picture of an animal or something. But we got lots of animals. I went out this morning to my garden and a deer had gotten to it. Unfortunately, he only got the tops of the plants. I got my beans a little bit, but he didn't get much of anything else. Got a little bit of a tomato that was suffering because some groundhogs came through a couple times earlier and took care of that. So I don't know if that's going to survive yet. It was down to just a few leaves and it grew back out again, and now the deer took it. So I don't know what's going to go wrong with that. What else? Yeah, what am I going to stream? Let's see. I want to make sure the channel's inclusive. I've got a neuro D issue, so I'm kind of sensitive to that. And, so anybody's welcome. But I'm going to do a lot of science stuff. Maybe do some experiments on stream. That would be fun to do experiments, but I got to figure out how to do that. And I like watching movies, sci-fi, so maybe some reviews or breakdowns of movies, that sort of thing. We'll see where it goes. So anyway, guys, yeah, Bob Newhart. Yeah, I met him a long time ago. Let me put up a little graphic here, if I can do that. Media source. Let's see. Sorry, I'm learning OBS on the fly here. I took a picture off. For some reason, this version of OBS doesn't have a browser source. For the folks who don't stream, the browser source is a. You have sources. You know, you bring in like my webcam as a source, and you have, if you want to do, you know, show stuff from the web, then you have your browser as a source. You have, you know, all your audio as a source. It's pretty complicated. I have much more respect for streamers now. I'm doing, you know, I was a viewer and a chatter for a long time, but I've got to look at behind the scenes now as to what they have to go through to put a stream together. So it's pretty complicated. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Well, sorry, I'm trying to find a file here that I had saved. There it is. I think that's it. Let me open that up and see if that's it. No, that's not it. That's it. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can get this to come up on my screen. So this is, I guess this is a test stream. It's turned into a test stream. Sorry. That's okay. All right. Let's see if I can get that up. There we go. All right. So Bob Newhart. Many years ago, I was working in a computer store. This is the late 70s. For those of you familiar with the history of computers, computer stores were very rare. There were probably only a dozen computer stores in the whole United States at that time. And they were more like this place that I worked was more like an electronics shop or something. It was in California, near Southern California, and it was, you know, a lot of our customers come from JPL and stuff like that to buy components and things. And so anyway, I was working in this store, and the computers that were just coming out, but before that, in the mid-70s, it was IMSAI and Altair, and the computers basically had no screens, nothing. All they had were switches in the front of them, switches and lights. So you set the bits of a location and memory that you want. You set the location, the address, and the data, the 8 bits that you want to put in there, and you put load, and it would put that in there, and then you go to the next address, And so that's what it was in the 70s, early mid 70s, and then in the late 70s, then more easier to, I say easier in quotes, was computers came out. Apple came out with the Apple II, or they came out with Apple I, which is basically a prototype, and then they came out with Apple II, which was very popular. There was another one called a Commodore PET, which had a little teeny keyboard on it that people didn't like, so it didn't do too well. And then Radio Shack, I don't know if you guys remember, Radio Shack was an electronics chain that was around for many years. They came out with their own computer called the TRS-80. So anyway, I was basically the Apple guy. I was selling the Apple IIs, and then they had CP/M systems, which were a whole other thing, different operating system. Actually, each brand had their own operating system at that time. But my thing was I was into Apples. I was selling the Apple II, and so I'm working at this computer store, and then coming to the computer store was Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart coming into the computer store, and I was like, wow, you know, and so we spoke a little bit, and he was talking about it, and he was really into. He's a geek. I mean, you look at him, he has that persona, you know. He's a geek. So, and geek back then, geek was an insult. Today, it's cool. And I mean it in the sense that it's used today. He was really cool, and he was into computers. And so I was trying to sell him an Apple, and the Apples were a little more expensive, and you know, he looked at the Commodore PET, which was not good at all. He rejected that one. The thing that Commodore had was they had a built-in display, built-in monitor. And at that time, it was the monitor. You know, the displays were huge boxes that had a cathode ray tube in there, and it had real high voltage, and it had to shoot electrons to a phosphor screen to get it. And all there were no colors on most of the computers. Most of them had just a green phosphor on the front of them, like an oscilloscope or something. So yeah, much different than today. And so he came in, and we spoke. But I kept trying to sell him an Apple II, you know, and he came in a couple times into the store, you know, because he really thought about it. He came back a couple times, and then finally the last time he came back in, he said, I bought the TRS-80, you know. He said, but it was cool, you know. I felt bad that I didn't make the sale, but it was cool that I was able to meet Bob Newhart and talk to him a little bit, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, he was really into computers, and apparently he programmed his TRS-80 for a long time and stuff. I don't know how long he stayed into computing. Like that. Obviously, he's probably using computers his whole life. But yeah, programming, I don't know how much he was into it. So anyway, that's my story of meeting Bob Newhart. And it was kind of surprising because when he checked out, he did buy some stuff. He bought some software or something for his TRS-80 at the end, and it was his. He paid with a credit card, or I had to look at his ID for a check or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was his name was different. I noticed, and I said, "It doesn't say Bob Newhart." And of course, Bob Newhart is his stage name. That's not his real name. I don't know if it. I mean, does this article say what? I can't read it here. I don't know if it says what his real name is on there, but anyway. so that was my story. It was kind of fun living in Southern California because living down there, you're always seeing famous people all the time. One day, the store I was at, there was kind of a boutique shop or something that was next to this. I'm sorry, I bumped the mic there. There was a boutique shop that was right next to the computer store. And one day, Farrah Fawcett comes walking into her computer store, and she walks in. And she looks around and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she walks out. So that was kind of cool meeting Farrah Fawcett. She was big. I don't know if you guys were. A lot of the young people here on Twitch. Farrah Fawcett was a big name. You probably don't even know. Most people don't even know who Bob Newhart was, but he was really big in the late 20th century. Did a lot of stuff, and mainly for his TV show, the Bob Newhart Show. So that's my story about Bob Newhart. Was I gonna? There was something else we were going to talk about. I was going to ask people if you know how. I'm trying to set up a. For those of you who use OBS and Twitch, somehow when a stream goes south and you lose your stream, it puts up the not like this icon with the. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, there it is. So you get that icon that comes up, that screen that comes up with that thing. I'd like to replace that because I see some streamers that put up like a little video playing or something like that when they lose their stream, and I can't figure out how to do that. I went to YouTube to see if I could find videos on it, went all kinds of places trying to figure this out, and in the YouTube title it says, "Oh, here's how you set up what is it called? Discontinuity or something like that." Anyway, I try to figure out how to replace that with my own custom screen, and I don't know how to do that. I can't figure it out. I know how to enable that. What is it called? Stream protection or something like that, or disconnect protection. That's what they call it. It's and that's easy. I mean, you go through this things and you click, "I want disconnect protection," and it just does it. But anywhere does it say how to put your own video or image or whatever in there. So that's kind of so if anybody knows how to do that, please let me know. So let me get that. Yeah, this is it's going to take some getting used to, getting this to getting the production part of it, and also being able to think and you know, I'm not good at talking anyway, so trying to concentrate on that and also do all this other stuff it's a talent, I guess. It's something you gotta learn. So what else was there? Yeah, some of the stuff I want to do. I want to do like reviews of movies, like sci-fi. So I'll probably be doing a lot of sci-fi. Yesterday I mentioned Burgess Meredith, who was on. I was doing a test video, and Burgess Meredith just happened to be in there. I mentioned him. I called him out, and he was on the series Twilight Zone. He was on one of the episodes where called Time Enough at Last, where this guy was he was the main star, and he played this character who was a bank teller or something, working in a bank, and you know didn't interact with people or anything, and so he would always eat his lunch in the bank vault. And so anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but he was down in the bank vault when something happened, and it's kind of ironic what the Twilight Zone thing. But I don't want to do any spoilers. Maybe we'll watch that one time. I got to figure out how to do that, how to do content that's not in the public domain or not generally available, like Creative Commons or something like that. If it's licensed content like that, I don't know how streamers do that. You know, how they get the license to do that, or maybe they're just fair use or something. I'm not sure how to do that yet, so I got to figure that out. Yeah, if I do a review of a movie, that's pretty easy because it's a critique, you know, and it'll be educational and critique of the movie. So that's obviously fair use if you've shown scenes from the movie. But let's see, what else do I have to do here? Let me practice. Okay, I'll probably lose my cane here, but since this is kind of a halfway of a test stream anyway, I'm gonna mess around with my camera parameters here. Oops, no, that's not my camera. Let's see. Audio, oh, there it is, webcam. So I'm going to try to adjust the some of the settings on my webcam here. Okay, so it says I'm going out to 1080p at 30 frames per second. So that's pretty good. I just bought this webcam. God, it was all this stuff I had to get to try to get my computer up to snuff. I mean, I've got a really old computer. It's a Intel i5 or 5i or whatever it is. Let's see right here. Yeah, Intel i5, I think it's good. Or is it 5i? I'm not sure. I got a dyslexia and that stuff. So it's a really old computer. It's got 8 gigabytes of memory. It's got, you know, I had this old no name brand webcam that wasn't good enough. It kept hanging, and it would only do 800 by 600 or something, and it wouldn't even do a 30 frames per second at that resolution. So it was really bad. I had to get another webcam. So this webcam came in finally Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So got it. It's a really good one. It's a Logitech Brio 4K, they call it. So obviously Twitch doesn't use 4K, and I don't need 4K. I don't think you need to see my wrinkles anymore any better than you can now. Anyway, so I don't need 4K, but I figured if I got a 4K and I ran it at 1080, then it wouldn't be breathing so hard. It wouldn't mess up on me as much. So that's it's my setup here is really just pieced together. I mean, I got this little teeny microphone here. It's gonna make some noise. I got a microphone. My mic stand is a pencil on a spring. You know, it's a little teeny mic. I want to get a big microphone. Everybody has all these streamers with big mics. I want a big mic. So maybe I'll build one. Maybe I'll build a mic. Maybe that'll be some content, right, for me. Building a mic on stream. Yeah, but everybody has this. I got this. I found this. This whole thing down the base. This was from a lamp. You know, one of those adjustable lamps. You know. Can you see that? It's one of those adjustable lamps. You know. And it broke a long time ago, but I saved it. I took some of the springs off of it, but I got enough springs on here that it still works. So that would make a cool mic stand. I just gotta build a big. I want a big mic. So, yeah. So that's my computer. My lighting, yeah. My lighting is just lamps I bought at yard sales. I put it together. Doesn't look that bad. Oh, I was going to adjust this a little bit. It looks like it's overexposed a little bit. So let's see here. Let me bring down the gain a little bit. And there we go. Yeah, I knew that would happen. Okay. Let's start back up. No, we got the audio, but my camera freezes when I try to, so I can't adjust it while I'm streaming at the same time, which is kind of unfortunate. So let me demonstrate how the stream disconnect protection works. I'm going to disconnect this, and it should mess up. Maybe it already has. Let me look over here. So let me disconnect this, reset this, and